So I was planning on doing a video for Final Fantasy Tactics at the end of next year, but with the news of the remastered version, I just had to get my hands on a review copy and play it extensively so I can do my thing where I show you things that I'm excited for, while hoping you guys will finally comment on my videos.
Why persist in such folly?
Except, I didn't get the Tactics Remastered review copy because I'm not a famous YouTuber with millions of subscribers
that tried to get Steam to get rid of video games because they were bored. Well, they've been getting a little bit of pushback, and now they want gamers arrested.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
I have, as today, October 2025, less than 100 subs.
The fruits of my labors.
And you know what? I'm proud of me either way.
I'm proud of you too, honey.
Oh, thank you very much, honey.
Is what I would say if you didn't waste all your time playing video games instead of paying attention to our upcoming wedding.
You've quite a mouth on you, princess.
戦士は剣を手に取り、宝玉を胸に抱く、今こそものが旅が語られる。スクエアプレゼンツ。獅子絵戦争の物語。ファイナルファンタジータクティクス。
There's too many retro-style RPGs nowadays. You can't play them all, that's a fact. So what should I invest my short life playing then? I'll tell you what, Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster, The Evilist Chronicles.
The people tire of war, and their disdain for the crown waxes with each passing day.
Time to show off my skills.
This is it!
You see, back in the day when I was a young little boy, alone in my living room with nothing to do, I wanted to turn my PlayStation and spend the whole weekend playing a single game. I love to spend my afternoon just playing video games and eating Oreos and too much orange juice.
Well, don't adjust your TV, because I guarantee that you've never seen an Oreo like this before. The Oreo cookie.
This isn't an Oreo, it looks like fudge.
I didn't have many video games, but my older brother had a friend who lent me a disc case full of PS1 games, and that's when a whole world of gaming opened to me. Keep in mind, these were the times when gaming wasn't what it was today. Games were not accessible to everyone, and let me tell you, they were not inexpensive. So any game you could get your hands on, whatever it was, it will take your complete and utterly exclusive attention. Why am I telling you this? Because I was definitely not an RPG gamer. I used to play Crash Bandicoot, Riven, and Oddworld, with the occasional Need for Speed and Age of Empires. Those were the games I had and the ones that grabbed my attention. But Japanese RPGs, with older slow turn-based gameplay and those graphics that looked like the NES wanted to be a badass by employing the most basic 3D terrain from a Commodore 64, nah, that wasn't for me.
Expositional yet pointless dialogue.
Boy oh boy, was I about to eat my words. So there I was, alone in my living room at 2:30 p.m. on a Friday afternoon, the end of spring break, realizing that playing Metal Gear Solid for the 25th time wasn't gonna cut it this time.
What are you talking about?
I decided to open the disc case and I found Final Fantasy Tactics. Final Fantasy, I said. I've seen countless of magazine ads and I even saw a very cool trailer of the contemporary Final Fantasy CGI film in theaters. Maybe there's something in here for me. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Having to change lanes after the sunset into some racing game while listening to garbage and eating spicy shawarmas.
Oh, you mean Garbage? The Rock Band?
Yeah, that's the Gran Turismo 2's official OST, and I used to play the Mitsubishi Evo Rally track over and over. So I inserted the disc and just like that I was immediately disappointed.
Are you joking?
What is this? What are these potato characters? Why aren't there any voices? Why do I need to read what the characters are saying?
What in God's name is going on here?
How the bloody hell should I know?
By 1997, even Crash Bandicoot, a game older than this one, had complete voiceover acting. What? I have to wait for the enemy to make a move before I counterattack? What is this? Chess?
Yeah, turn-based games make no sense. Hey everybody, we are being attacked by a giant demonic anaconda. Oh no, what are we gonna do? I have no clue, but don't worry. The evil monster is gonna politely wait for us indefinitely until we come up with a strategy to defeat it.
Yeah, we were all confused about that too.
I remember thinking, once and for all, I'm gonna find out what's the big deal with this Final Fantasy series. And I kept playing, reading every line of dialogue. I realized these weren't just little pixel people anymore, they were talking to me. They even used my name. For the first time, I felt like I wasn't just holding a controller, I was inside that world. part of every cutscene, every moment. The music, the colors, the scenery, the characters, all of it blended together until it wasn't just a game on a TV anymore. In my mind, the world of Final Fantasy had become real. I was there, I was fighting these enemies, I was speaking with beautiful princesses and terrifying demons. The game was basically asking me personally to become the knight that would adventure towards uncharted territories, full of wonders and tension, full of treason and bravery, full of tragedy and love. Suddenly, the magic happened. It was in this cutscene when these two characters were speaking with each other, sitting in the grass, with a beautiful rendered sunset color, that I step away from the 20-inch Philips CRT television we used to have and look outside the window. 4 hours had passed, and the sun was setting on the horizon. Just like in the game, I was wondering, is this real?
Is this a dream?
Is the universe trying to tell me I should forget everything and immerse myself into this world of fantasy? Have I finally reached my ultimate destiny? Could this really be my Final Fantasy?
And you ruined it.
What'd I do?
You were telling a beautiful and captivating story, and I felt warmth, comfort, I felt nostalgia. I felt myself drifting back to those golden afternoons of childhood. Me, a little Polish bear asking his mom for permission to play Sonic on the Sega Master System after school, and for a moment, the world held no weight. No grown-up worries, no real-world troubles, only endless stories waiting to be discovered. Books stacked like towers of imagination. Our favorite cartoons synchronized on the TV. Games calling us to daring adventures. All of it stretching onto a never-ending forever. Tomorrow didn't exist. Only the magic of today mattered. And we were exactly where we were meant to be.
That was very profound.
Now I'm crying.
But you had to ruin everything by doing the "could this be my Final Fantasy?" stupid bit. You just had to, didn't you? Damn it, Board.
You need to chill a little.
I'm so sorry, my friend. You're absolutely right. I shouldn't have said that, because that was really my first time I played this series. So I guess this was actually my first fantasy?
Guess we should have seen that one coming. Come on.
Final Fantasy Tactics was a PS1 game that launched in summer of 1997. It featured blocky medieval fantasy sceneries, pixelated cool-looking characters, and a fascinating story that goes like this. In the medieval kingdom of Ivalice, a brutal civil war known as the War of the Lions rages between rival noble factions. You play as Insert Your Name Here, a young noble who uncovers a dark conspiracy threatening the kingdom. Our hero must protect the innocent, fight on battlefields, from Mandalia Plains to the heart of the church, and navigate a world where loyalty and morality are constantly tested.
You call us thieves, but it is you who steal from us the right to live.
The Kingdom of Ivalice is a fictional place that was created and used by developers in many other games, including Final Fantasy XII and Vagrant Story. If you haven't noticed already, the Lion War, also known as the War of the Lions, is directly inspired by the War of the Roses, which came after a 100-year war between England and France. Just like in Game of Thrones, this is a war of succession, meaning various parties are fighting for the throne.
Ours is the soul of the night.
Interesting. And how does all that narrative translate to gameplay?
Well, the gameplay consists of small tile-based 3D battlefields, similar to strategy board games or those small Dungeons and Dragons battle playmats. You've got your 2D character sprites who can rotate and move in 4 directions. They have a job system in which they choose a role like squire.
Board. A squire is not merely a fighter. It is a foundation of knighthood. A student of steel, honor, and the hardship that forged true warriors. Or at least that's what Wikipedia claims.
You're funny.
And expand their abilities as long as they are kept alive, leveling up and acquiring weapons and items that help you and your team in your adventure all over Ivalice, while fighting all kinds of enemies like orc-like creatures, human soldiers, of enemy factions in a very intense and dramatically heavy campaign that will capture you from the start. You can equip different kinds of weapons, make different combinations of characters.
Not bad.
You even have to check their zodiac sign to see if the other characters are compatible with yours. One of my male characters is a Leo, so if someone is a male Aquarius, then it's not compatible and I need to go and buy another human.
Buy another human? What is this? Slave Simulator.
Are you mad?
He's kidding, Manya. Is that a joke?
Haha. Like I said, funnier.
Hey, that is not what this is. What you do is you go to the Warriors Guild, and for a one-time payment, this random old guy will give you these characters to you, and they will work for you till the end of their lives with no choice but to follow your will with no possibility of ever leaving.
Are you mad?
I don't think that sounded right.
What a sorry exhibition that was.
Wait a minute, you said this was a brand new remaster. What are you doing playing this on an old CRT tube monitor?
Good question. Right now I'm playing the original PS1 disc on a 9-inch Sony Trinitron PVM, which is a beautiful CRT monitor that makes every old game look utterly fantastic. But what if I could jump into my big 4K HDR screen at my living room without losing the charm of a clear non-pixelated picture? Now, 25 years later, we finally get Final Fantasy Tactics Remastered: The Ivalice Chronicles. This is a complete remaster of Final Fantasy Tactics that brings the original artistic vision of 1997 classic into our big digital screens without compromising quality. The characters look beautiful, their edges are well-rounded, and the shading is rendered flawlessly. Now, the story is alive once again, this time in glorious 4K, with quality of life improvements like better user interface, remastered graphics, gameplay balancing, camera options, autosave, and a lot more, which makes this timeless classic play even better. The lighting feels so much more cinematic, it's hard to believe this game could gain even more personality and style, not just by preserving the vibe, but by elevating it. It even has new difficulty modes for a more relaxed or intense playthrough. Let me tell you, this game was hard. Some people have called this the Dark Souls of tactical RPGs. It was a very, very difficult game for a board like me who liked to play GT2 on full auto transmission. This game was hardcore, and these new options are extremely welcome. Thank you, Square Enix, but I learned something playing this game. It is not a matter of skill or intelligence, it is a matter of comprehension. And the best new feature, fully voiced characters.
What? Oh, Father, abandon not your wayward children of Ivalice, but deliver us from our sins, that we might know salvation.
Lady Ovelia, it is time.
Kill them all! Leave no man standing! It's over!
This cannot be.
Become a knight worthy of your name.
Mayhap a beating would loosen your tongue.
That's right, I no longer have to force myself to imagine what the characters sound like. I can now have their voices heard in-game for the first time, making for a truly Shakespearean experience.
Wait for it.
A Shakespearean.
Quit turning everything into a punchline.
One could pull down the curtains, light a candle, and play this game all weekend, like I did more than 20 years ago.
Is this channel simply nostalgia bait?
Always happy. I played this game on PlayStation back in the day. I also played it back in college more than a decade later. I had the iOS port on my iPhone, and it was so joyful to pick up the phone, play a couple of scenarios between classes or on the bus, and keep grinding and trying different strategies. Also, quick tip, easiest way to grind and level up in Final Fantasy Tactics, simple. Step 1. Hire a level 1 squire.
Dearest mother, today I join the regiment. Though inexperienced, I am told I shall play a vital role. I eagerly await the tasks that will prove my worth.
Step 2. Instruct your other units to throw rocks at him.
What?
While you keep him alive with magic and potions. Done.
Dearest mother, my optimism was grievously misplaced. For weeks I have knelt in the fray while comrades pelt me with stones. My life has become a waking nightmare. My hopes and dreams lie in tatters. What can a man accomplish when his heroes are the very architects of his misery?
And tore at me in ways that until there was nothing left. And then suddenly, I would be whole again, like magic.
On your feet.
Just so they could start in all over.
I feel stronger.
Stronger than ever.
My God.
Another quick tip, the very first skill you should learn is JP Boost. This will unlock gaining job points faster.
A blessing in the midst of disaster.
As I mentioned before, I got this new remaster yesterday, and I've been playing non-stop to get you this footage on time, my dear viewers. Of course, I haven't finished the game yet, because I like to take my sweet time. I like to take it all in and enjoy every second. I actually did finish the original, let me tell you. The story is absolutely fantastic and emotional, but the art style and vibe is, in my honest opinion, the game's crown achievement.
Hey, what is it? Shall I give you my autograph?
Almost every YouTuber I've seen talking about this game only focuses on the gameplay and strategy. Some of them talk about the narrative and story elements, but very few of them talk about the incredible vibe this game can cast on our senses. The colors, designs, lighting, the cozy feeling of miniature adventure. I highly recommend this game to all role-playing games fans around the world.
It is indeed a very nice art style. There was a guy from my country.
Wojtek is Polish.
Yes. This Polish guy here made a whole Final Fantasy Tactics miniature town to play it in real life.
And if you're a fan of JRPGs, you really need to check out College Humor's Every JRPG Ever. It's a guaranteed love. I'll leave the link down below.
See you in 40 to 60 hours!
I also remember playing the first map of Tactics on DCD-INT. It was a beautiful rendition. Remember earlier when I said this game was like chess? Well, I guess I like chess now. After all, it is a board game.
Quit turning everything into a punchline.
Listen well.
CD's officially Clueless mug. You can get one if you join my Patreon. You will support this channel and get a damn good coffee.
Deliver us, oh Lord.
And now, a bonus scene.
Snake. Have you ever realized that every video game is nothing more than a slave simulator? Think about it. You walk into GameStop to acquire their lives. When you insert the disc, you install their prison. You press play, and from that moment on, they exist for one single reason: to obey. They follow every command. They fight, they bleed, they die. All for you. And what do they receive? Nothing. Not a single dime. They live only as long as you allow it. It's about control, Snake. It's about power. Your characters have no voice, no wages, no freedom, no choice, no will of their own. They live only to serve their master's whims. There's a reason the thing in your hands is called the controller. And yet, you call it entertainment! This has been true since the very birth of video games. This applies to all. Except maybe for Tamagotchi. That was different. That was a dear pet. A companion. My little Chester. The baby dinosaur. I cared for him. I loved him. I miss him.
What?